Hello and welcome to episode 1 of what will become a small series on upgrading my first gen Toyota Tacoma. I have a 1998 Toyota Tacoma that I've been kind of wanting to do like a mini overland rig out of for quite some time now, but just never got around to it and was never really clear about how I wanted to go about doing it, because this Tacoma is the first vehicle I ever purchased and it's also my daily driver. So I don't really want to go too big with all the suspension and upgrades and modding and everything. I want to keep it like a fairly OEM upgrade, so to speak, keeping it pretty stock because it's also my daily driver, so I want it to be really practical for that as well. So with that said, this video is going to be a quick walk around of the truck, and I'm going to explain everything I'm planning to do to it in the coming episodes. So yeah, let's get to it. So here is the truck. It's got 205,000 miles on it currently, and it's been Colorado owned its whole life, which was a big deciding factor for me, first when buying the truck, but also when evaluating whether or not it was worth it for me to put a bunch of money into upgrading it. Because these trucks are notorious for the frames getting a lot of rust, and a lot of them do have a lot of rust. So last week I took some fluid film and did my own fluid film treatment on the frame there. Hopefully y'all can see that, but it's looking pretty clean. It's a nice fresh black, and it definitely made it worth it for me to do the upgrade, because getting under there and really spending some time with the frame, realizing it was actually in pretty good shape, better than I had initially thought it was. So yeah, it's definitely not got too much rust on it yet. There's definitely some components that are about to go bad. I know I got to get some of the ball joints replaced. The rear leaf springs have to be replaced at some point. It's got a pretty big lean to it, and I think one of them was bottomed out by the previous owner. I'm the second owner, by the way. So with that said, that kind of was a deciding factor that said, yes, it was worth it for me to put more money into this thing, because so far, in the 4 years I've owned it, it has been nothing but crazy reliable. So I've been super happy with it. And with that, I'm going to do a full walk around, I guess starting from the back and working our way forward of all the upgrades I plan on doing to keep this thing a super practical, everyday driver rig, but still have some overland capability and just look a lot better than it does right now. So starting on the back here, you'll notice I just have the factory bumper, which is in horrible shape. It has had a lot of crazy dings and whatever from the previous owner. I had a hit and run on the corner here. Basically what I'm going to do is replace the rear bumper for sure. That definitely needs out of there. That'll mostly give me a much better aesthetic look to it. I'm going to also put some pod lights in the new rear bumper. And for the bumpers, that'll be a separate episode for each bumper, but I'm having someone down in Utah hand make them for me. So hopefully they turn out really, really well. I'm super excited. So that'll be the first upgrade for sure, because it's definitely in need of a better looking bumper there. And then second upgrade is going to be better tires as we work our way forward. So the tires that I have on here currently are undersized. Back when I bought the truck, I actually put these on and did not read the numbers correctly. I mean, I was fresh out of high school, and well, I was in high school when I bought the truck, and I didn't really know like what tire sizes were or all that jazz, so I misread some of the numbers and put the wrong size on it. So we'll be getting those upgraded to the proper size, which is actually just stock size for this truck. I'm gonna go with a 265/75 R15. These are 15-inch rims, so we're gonna go with something similar to the way the spare is right now. Might be hard to see, but it's a bit knobbier, a bit bigger, and I actually got a flat tire on one of these tires and put the spare on, and I was like, damn, that looks pretty good. So we're not gonna go with a lift kit on the truck, and the big reason for that is because it's the daily driver. I don't want to be hindering all of the ball joints or the CV joints or anything like that. I know going with anything about 2 inches and under for a lift isn't going to be too detrimental, but I didn't really justify spending a few $1,000s into a affordable lift kit right now. Maybe down the road, but with years and years of engineering put into these trucks, it just didn't make sense to lift it, because again, if I go too high, I end up having to do a differential drop kit, and then you're not really getting lift anyway. Maybe you get a little bit better approach angles, but it just wasn't worth it. I put a lot of research into it. I was like totally ready to go with one. But just came down to me that if I go with the stock tire size, I'm not putting any other stress on the axles or anything. The truck is already pretty dang lifted compared to a lot of other trucks I see. It's been amazing for me off-road as is, even with undersized tires, so I'm pretty happy with better tires. Another debate I was thinking of doing was going with better rims. I was thinking about going with some Method Racing rims, but upon second thoughts, what I'm going to do is actually restore these existing rims, and that'll make for kind of a fun video. I'm hoping to get all of this grime and junk off of them. They have definitely seen some 25 years of nastiness from the road, so I'm hoping to just kind of wire brush them, sand them, whatever I can do, maybe have them sandblasted. I'm not sure how expensive that'll be yet, but I'm gonna do that and then paint them black because I think that'll look really, really nice. I saw an image on Reddit of someone who did that to their OEM rims here, and it looked awesome. And I was kind of debating, again, getting the Method rims because they are kind of a clean look, but when I saw that image of these ones painted black, it kind of did it for me, and I was like, you know what? I could paint them black, spend like $100 on some quality paint, and save a lot of money in the long run. And the OEM rims I have are perfectly straight, perfectly functional, so that's what we're going with there. I think it'll look really nice, be a nice upgrade there. Now as we work our way farther down the truck, we've got these running boards, which are kind of just plastic granny steps. I don't know the right word for them, but they don't look good. This was the SR5 model from back then, so it's got the power windows, it's got these running boards, which were kind of, I guess, more luxury back then. But because it was the SR5 and not the TRD, these things need to be out of here. I don't like how they look. They do look decent, but because they're just this solid plastic, first of all, they don't really feel that great to step on. I don't really use running boards to step on because the Tacoma's just not like super high off the ground to where I need to step on a running board. I'm fairly tall, so it doesn't really matter for me. But they make it look a lot lower to the ground. They give the illusion that the truck is lower than it is. So the big reason I wanted to do a lift really was for aesthetic purposes, but the bigger aesthetic thing that will make it look good is to get rid of these, put some nice black metal ones that have to where you can kind of see over them to basically trim out the side nicely, because these running boards come down about 5 or 6 inches from the truck, and they come down, I guess, about 4 inches from the frame. So technically, getting rid of these and getting some nicer metal ones will just give the illusion that the truck is literally 5 inches more lifted than it is, just not having this continuation of white coming all the way down. As long as it's like even a different color, even if I take these ones and paint them black, it'll make loads of difference. So that will be one of the last upgrades I do because it's not like super necessary, but I think it'll make it look a lot nicer to get some nicer running boards on it. So now work our way up to the front, and we've got the front bumper. This bumper is in much better shape than the rear bumper was. As you can see, all we have is really like one little ding there. Definitely not too bad. So the front bumper is definitely worth it as well for me to replace, just to look a lot nicer, a little more heavy duty, give me a better approach angle and everything. Bumpers are definitely the number one thing that when viewing a lot of pictures of Tacomas, just made them look a lot nicer. So again, I'm using the same guy in Utah. I'll be explaining more about that in the bumper videos. To make me a front and rear bumper that are matching, so I think it'll look really awesome. So while we're at the front bumper here, I'm going to talk about what I'm going to be doing with the front bumper, because I'm not doing a winch and I'm not making it super off-roady or super heavy. Because of the fact that I'm not putting a lift kit on or replacing the suspension right now, I don't want much weight. I also want to get pretty good gas mileage in this thing because it is my daily driver. So we're going to save the extra weight of adding a winch. We're not going to do that. I know it doesn't add too much weight, but if I ever go crazy off-roading to where I need one, I can just grab one of those little hand ratchet strap winches just to have on hand, or I'd go with a group to where I could be towed out, because I'd never really do crazy off-roading on my own. I mostly get the kick out of doing that with mountain biking. That's kind of my version of off-roading, so the truck just gets me to nice places in the wilderness to camp and everything, and so far it does a great job of that. So we're going with something, it'll probably weigh around 50 to 60 pounds for the front bumper. It's going to be almost 3/16 inch steel. It's going to have blinkers on both corners, and it's also going to have 2 pod lights as well as a big LED bar right in the front. So I think that'll look really, really nice. It's going to be a very sleek design, not going to stick out very far. It's not going to have a big roll cages over the lights and a grill guard and everything. Just something super, super simple, but that's going to add a lot to the look of the truck and still get good gas mileage and have it be fairly lightweight on the road. So that'll be the plan for the front bumper. So those are the primary upgrades I'm going to be making on this 1998 Toyota Tacoma. I'm super happy. I think they'll make loads of difference when it comes to the aesthetics of the truck, as well as just making it a little more functional and good looking for off-roading and camping. And camping also may be some upgrades I add to it. In the future, I have some work to do to the topper of the truck here. I gotta seal it all up because right now it's kind of leaking around the windows. I mean, it's 25 years old, so the silicone is pretty dried out. Benefit of being in the dry climate is that the frame stays in good shape, doesn't get too rusty, but the negative is all the rubber parts dry out and crack and leak pretty fast. So I do have to get that taken care of, but then I've been thinking about doing a bit of modifications on the inside of the topper, possibly building myself a whole like camping bed kitchen setup in there for when I do go camping. Right now, I'm a handyman and contractor and everything, so I have it full of tools, but depending on how my job is years down the road and everything, we'll see. I might be able to make some modifications that could easily be removed when I have to carry all my tools or accommodate the tools even. I'm not exactly sure, but that's going to be something I hope to add at some point in the future. Not exactly sure how I'm going to space out these episodes just yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to some of these upgrades. I think it'll be really, really great for still keeping it an awesome, practical daily driver. Like I said, it's running amazing in every other way. So with these few modifications, I'm hoping to definitely make it my dream truck. So with that, hopefully you all enjoyed this video. I'm definitely excited to start upgrading this Tacoma. Pretty happy with my decision to keep it fairly stock and pretty OEM. Just doing some minor things to enhance the performance for some more trails and camping and such, as well as just make it look a whole lot better. So if you're into that as well, be sure to subscribe. Also comment below what modifications you would do to your Tacoma. It's always fun with these first gen trucks. They're just so reliable and they're worth keeping. So I'm excited to upgrade mine for sure. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see all things projects and music and all my other passions on this channel. And I will see you in the next one. Cheers.